Hi, Jason Hewlett here. Recently, my boys and I did something that was called an adventure week, and it was certainly an epic adventure. Luckily, in our neighborhood, we have some amazing men and dads that decided to put together this adventure week that our boys would never forget. 11 and 12-year-old boys. It was so awesome. The first day, we went to a reservoir, and we rode around on the lake in a boat, being pulled in an inner tube, and jumped in the water, swam around, threw sand at each other. It was totally awesome. And then at night, I would always be doing the fireside or the evening discussion. I would share stories and the ways that we can implement what we learned that day into something spiritual or of a self-help nature. It was pretty cool to be able to do this every single night of our camping and our journey. The next day, we went on a bike ride. The bike ride turned out to be way too long. 30-mile bike ride from a place called Park City, Utah, all the way through Wanship and Colville into the Echo Reservoir, where we went a little too far and had to backtrack in the hot sun. It was a hard ride, but these boys made it. They proved that they had the mettle to give it their all, and we let them go jump in the Echo Reservoir this time, and we had a great time once we finally got to the end of this very challenging bike ride that hurt all of our bums. And then on Wednesday, we went and did something kind of crazy. We went and puffed up a bunch of inner tubes and went down the Weber River. Now this river, unfortunately this day, it was overcast and freezing cold outside, and we decided to get in anyway. The 2 or 4 miles we went felt like an eternity. We were hitting rocks and we were slamming into trees and sticks, and it was insane. I was running back and forth through the river more than I was in the inner tube, hanging on to kids for their lives so they wouldn't float away. We were going under bridges and overpasses. I don't even have any pictures of it because it was impossible to take when we were just trying to survive. And we all came away with bumps and bruises, and yet it was an epic adventure. The next day, we did the culmination of the trip, which was a slot canyon in the San Rafael Swell in Utah. And central Utah is a beautiful place. The topography is unique to anywhere in the world. And these slot canyons are so tight, we could barely fit our bodies through them. But we squeezed our way through, we cut up our arms, we ripped up our legs, our shoes were destroyed as we walked through the sandy, gucky, yucky water that was left over from floods past. And then we taught the boys how to rappel. Many of them had never rappelled down a rope. And we taught them about trusting their equipment, trusting the tools that we had given them, that they needed the helmet, the harness, the rope, and to make sure that they hung on. And it's important to hang on to that rope. We taught them the spiritual implications of it as well as the physical. We did a 20-foot rappel, and then we did a huge 80-foot rappel. And for these kids having it be their first time, it was totally safe, and yet at the same time, they were risking a lot. It was a big challenge for them. I'm so proud of every boy that did it, including my sons. We had an epic adventure. And the question I have for you is, how are you creating epic adventures, adventure weeks for those that you love? This is not something we can do every day or every week or every month, but once a year. How do you create something that they'll be talking about for the rest of their lives, that will challenge them, that will push them to new levels of realizing they can do it? This adventure week was amazing. I'm grateful for the dads that were there. It was amazing to watch the kids utilize teamwork and to find the signature moves that each of them had to keep their promise to make sure to be legendary leaders as they helped one another and engaged in a way unlike any we've seen. There were no phones. They were completely disconnected from the world and completely connected to each other. It was a beautiful thing to be fully present on Adventure Week. How are you keeping your promise to your family to make sure that you create epic adventures like this one as often as you can? What's your promise to not quit?